Hi, this is Rajiv Kapoor. I'm the founder and chief wallah of greenwallet.com, and you're watching Eye on Business.
Tell me about eGuardian.
We started eGuardian about 3 years ago with really the idea of protecting children on the internet. My partner and I both have children. We are both very excited about what they can do on the internet and the opportunities they have that we didn't have growing up as kids, but there's a lot of danger out there. So when we came up, we were trying to come up with an idea of what our next company was going to be. And we wanted it to be something that was going to make a difference. And for us, it made sense to do something with kids. And when we looked into it, everything out there that protects children makes their world smaller. It stops them from going places or from doing things. So we wanted to develop something that would protect children while letting them go to more safe places rather than cutting back on where they could go.
Great idea, great idea. Where is your company located?
We're located, our offices are in Ontario, California, so in Southern California. And but we have employees pretty much all over the state.
Really? How many people in your organization?
We have today 12 people who are full-time, and then we have 29 that are involved with the organization overall.
Now tell me, how do you get your revenues? Are you a profit?
Yeah, we're a for-profit corporation.
Okay.
And the way we get our revenues is really websites pay us to protect children. So if you imagine a big social networking site, they're having issues getting children to come to their sites because it could be a dangerous place for them. So instead what they do is they hire eGuardian to be able to protect their site. They give us revenues from them, and then they make it a safe environment for children. Parents send more of their children there, and everybody's very happy about that. Or if you imagine a children's site, what most children's sites don't provide today is any type of social networking. And because of that, they're not getting the big numbers in some of these sites because that's what kids want to do. I mean, for us, it was email. For people before, it's just communicating with family. For children today, it's all about being able to network and bring out, communicate, instant messaging, chat rooms, all of that. None of these children's sites can offer that in a safe way, or most of them cannot. So they turn to eGuardian to be able to protect those communications. It allows them to offer more services, and now children who go on that site and are also protected by eGuardian can do a lot more than their peers who are not.
How does it work?
It works through age verification. What we do is it all starts with the parent. The parent has to decide, I want to do this. The parent decides they want to do it. They come through our website. They could come through a school fundraiser. Sometimes they sign up directly at a site. But they basically say, I am the parent. Mary is my daughter, and I want to protect her. And they give us basic information. They give us the parent's name. They give us the parent's address, parent's signature, the child's name, their gender, and their address, and their age, and what school they go to. Once they fill that out, then what we do is we send that to the school, and it basically comes from the parent. It's the parent telling the school, this is the information. I need a third party to verify that this is actually correct, that I am the custodial parent, that Mary is 12 years old and they go to your school. So the school doesn't provide any information, but the school's able to say either that's 100% correct or it's 100% wrong. If they say it's correct, then we get that verification information. We can now give that child an eGuardian ID that goes onto their computer. And what it does is it tells participating websites not who the child is. We never disclose any of that information, but it says this is a 12-year-old. And if they know it's a 12-year-old, they have certain protocols to be able to protect children, stopping ads that are inappropriate for children to getting from them, stopping communication with other non-verified children, or if they need to open up a communication, we know who the parent is, and through us they can come and ask the parent and say, can Mary speak to Bob? Well, yeah, Bob is her uncle. Let's go ahead and be able to do that. Or any type of special environment they want to create for children. We have a chess site that's looking at us now, and what they want the age verification for is to be able to get kids to compete at their own grade and age level with other kids. So we enable a lot of this to happen because we're verifying the age.
Are websites really that sophisticated today?
They are extremely sophisticated, and in fact, we got very lucky. I mean, when we first started talking to websites, nobody wanted to provide protection automatically. I mean, it's not what they wanted to do. the attorneys generals from 49 states got together and said, you have to do something. Children are being predated on. There's a big fear. And even though the numbers statistically are very small, when it's your child, it's a universe of 100. And obviously parents are concerned about that. So they made these websites develop very sophisticated programs to be able to protect children. The one flaw is that the child has to say, I'm a 10-year-old, so start protecting me. And children don't do that. So they needed some way to be able to verify who is a child, who is not. And also, unfortunately, when you build something for a child, the first thing it does is it gets a predator to say, well, how do I pretend to be a child to get in there? So our system helps preclude all of that.
I see. Now, you have software that a program you download onto the personal computer of the user?
We have, our service is verifying the age, and then we can work with lots of different programs. There's child site blocking software that can take our ID and add that to it. We are working with all the major OS providers now for them to be able to incorporate it into parental controls, which are already built into the computer. And then there are lots of other programs that are helping to protect children that accept an eGuardian ID. We're also talking to a major phone provider and two major ISPs or internet service providers that are going to put the protection directly on the network. So if you're hooked up to their cable system, we're able to get the information, get the eGuardian ID, and protect your children.
That's wonderful. How did you come up with this idea?
It was all mine. My partner had nothing to do with it. My partner and I sat down. I have a consulting company that I own. He has a high-end development company that works with security, things like major credit card companies that need security. That's what he built. We would meet once a week, and we were vetting ideas of what our next business together was going to be. And we stopped at one point, and he said, you know what? We already have companies that are making money. Let's do something that makes a difference in the world. Our background is technology, our background is marketing. Where could we do it? And what we looked at was saying the number one thing that we can do, and he was saying, I want my children 10 years from now to be doing something on the internet and know that their father helped make that a better place for them. And my kids are older. I'm still younger than he is, but my kids are older, so I'm missing the window on them. But I'm going to have grandchildren someday, and I want them to be able to do that. We came up with the idea of how can we make it better for kids, and the idea was a schoolyard. You don't mind your kid going to school and having open communications because you know everybody in that schoolyard is either a kid or a trusted adult. That's what we wanted to do on the internet so that we wouldn't be blocking sites, but making them more open.
Where do you see your company in 10 years?
I think that 10 years from now, and I mean, if we continue to go on the pace that we are now, we will become an invisible part of infrastructure. For example, today you might take a 16-year-old and say, we want to put eGuardian on you, and there's going to be a lot of resistance from that 16-year-old. But an 8-year-old who started with it when they were younger, moving up, it just becomes a natural part. And I think what you're going to see eGuardian being is not only protecting children on the internet, but a way to protect information on the internet. For example, we're talking to a major bank right now that wants to use the eGuardian ID so that children can order things online and not only have it be age appropriate. For example, they could go to a site like iTunes and buy music and buy what's appropriate for them, or go to a movie site and instead of buying for the R-rated movie, they only get to buy what's appropriate for them. But more importantly, the eGuardian ID is this invisible ID says, we know who this child is, but you don't need to know who the child is. We can complete the transaction without exposing child information to the internet. And I think that's what you're going to see our company evolving into.
Interesting. Is a child aware of this restrictive, abilities to get access to certain sites?
We want them to be aware of it. I mean, obviously, it's up to the parent.
Yeah.
The child never has the eGuardian ID, so it's not something they can give out. But if they were to go to a major social networking site and they try to put in that they're 21 and the site comes back and says, no, you're 13, they become very aware at that point. And there's also, again, we look at it as a positive in them going to a site and saying, well, I want to do all these extra things. And it's saying, well, you can because you are eGuardianized, or no, you have to become eGuardian. So the child is aware, but they really don't have the control over it to turn it on or off. It's just in how they communicate, and it works for instant messaging and for email and lots of other communications.
What about when a child is 17 or a minor and then they turn 18? What happens?
Yeah, we want to protect them until they're 45. No. Yeah. I tried that on my daughter who's 19 and in college, and it didn't get much further than that.